This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by
Manage all your SLT Mobitel services through the MySLT app.
IWS Aviation.
Good evening and welcome to the State of Business on Art Television. I am Chavika Samarasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines. Government works to present a revised budget. Employers Federation appeals for stable business environment. News in detail. The government is exploring the possibility of introducing buffalo farming as a source of milk with technical assistance of Amul India. To this end, a delegation led by Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to New Delhi, Milinda Morogoda, recently met with Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation Limited. In India, buffalo milk accounts for 45% of total milk production, while 55% of Amul's total milk production comes from buffaloes. High Commissioner Morogoda met Amul's Managing Director R.S. Sodhi for discussions at the Federation's headquarters in Anand during the High Commissioner's first official visit to the state of Gujarat since assuming office in India. Discussions focused on the cooperation between Sri Lanka and India in the dairy sector with special attention on importing Amul dairy products through the existing Indian credit line and replicating the Amul cooperative product in Sri Lanka with a view to ensuring self-sufficiency in milk. This is part of Sri Lanka's efforts to develop its dairy sector with assistance from India. Following the discussion, the High Commissioner and the delegation visited the Khaira Milk Union dairy plant in Anand, where packaging of milk and production of other dairy products takes place. Formed in 1946 as a cooperative society in response to the exploitation of marginal milk producers by traders and agents in small cities, Amul was closely associated with the anti-colonial sentiments and India's independence movement. Today, Amul is jointly controlled by 3.6 million milk producers in 18,565 villages in Gujarat. The Federation is the largest food products marketing organization in India. Amul spurred India's White Revolution, or achieving self-sufficiency in milk, transforming India from a milk-deficient nation into the world's largest milk producer, surpassing the United States of America in 1998. High Commissioner Morogoda was in the state of Gujarat on a two-day official visit to meet state officials and potential investors. The Employees Federation of Ceylon yesterday appealed to the new government to facilitate uninterrupted business and economic activity. The Federation maintains that doing so will enable people's livelihoods. In a statement, the Employers Federation of Ceylon noted that this call is aligned with the tripartite constituents of employers, employees, and the government. Federation Director General Vajre Elapola holds that they are confident trade unions share this view not merely in the limited interest of their membership, but in the broader interest of the working people and the national economy. He says that in the backdrop of unprecedented socio-economic issues, the EFC further wishes to ensure authorities of its commitment to a social partnership towards consensus building on key issues for which solutions are urgent. Elapola communicates that the Federation believes the Labour Administration, in consultation with social partners, will facilitate a framework for meaningful, constructive and ongoing dialogue between all parties including trade unions, through the National Labour Advisory Council to address challenges. The Employers Federation of Ceylon is the leading employers organization in Sri Lanka, representing over 700 companies in multiple sectors, ranging from manufacturing, banking, and plantations to hospitality. The Ceylon Chamber of Commerce today commenced the National Sme Forum 2022. The three-day virtual event will focus on three respective themes addressing critical challenges specific to SMEs, and also provide insights into the current macroeconomic environment. The forum hopes to support the small and medium enterprise sector and foster constructive dialogue amongst public, private and non-government stakeholders on navigating the ongoing economic crisis. With the SME sector among the hardest hit by the crisis, the forum will provide a crucial and timely opportunity to engage high-level public sector officials, industry experts, organizations engaged in SME development, and other players in the SME environment in mapping an urgent course of survival and recovery. Widely acknowledged as a key driver of change for inclusive economic growth, regional development, employment generation, and poverty reduction, the sustainability of the SME sector will play a vital role in national economic recovery. The sector faces multiple operational, logistics, and policy challenges, including rapidly rising costs of production, falling demand, challenges in sourcing production inputs, and maintaining sustainable operations amidst power interruptions and the fuel shortage. The forum will address these and other issues. The forum will also explore strategies to facilitate SMEs to transform from survival to growth and expansion. Stay tuned. We will return after this commercial break.
More data when you stay and use more. Data bowl one, data bowl one. More data with low latency. Data bowl one, data bowl one. Take it anywhere with S30 Go. Data bowl one, data bowl one.
A non-stop journey with Data Bowl 1 from SLT Mobitel Home Broadband.
Welcome back. With renewable energy becoming vital to address mounting national and global energy needs, the Federation of Renewable Energy Developers, or FRED, held its inaugural meeting on the 22nd of July, 2022. The FRED, which is an approved association of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, will provide a unifying voice for the renewable energy sector in Sri Lanka. It aims to facilitate the promotion and adoption of advanced, efficient and sustainable technology and policies that will promote and benefit the country's long-term sustainable energy requirements and goals. The Federation will be comprised of renewable energy industry associations, including the Small Hydropower Developers Association, the Grid Connected Solar Power Association, Wind Power Association and the Bioenergy Association of Sri Lanka, comprising of over 750 megawatts of operational projects connected to the national grid. It will also include industry stakeholders such as investors, developers, and science and technology professionals. With this wealth of expertise and experience at its disposal, the FRED aims to constructively contribute towards the development of a sustainable framework for renewable energy generation, while also ensuring Sri Lanka meets its international commitments towards climate change mitigation and the Sustainable Development Goals. In its capacity as an industry representative, the FRED will be well placed to provide policy and technical guidance to relevant ministries, state agencies, consultative committees and other development organizations. It hopes to guide Sri Lanka as it pursues a target of 70% renewable energy by 2030, in line with the goal of zero carbon by 2050 as mandated by the Paris Agreement. China's finance and investment spending in Belt and Road countries fell slightly in the first half compared to a year earlier. Research attributes this to there being no new coal projects, and investments in Russia, Egypt and Sri Lanka falling to zero. Saudi Arabia was the biggest recipient of Chinese investment over the period, with about $5.5 billion according to the Shanghai-based Green Finance and Development Center. Total financing and investments stood at $28.4 billion over the period, down from $29.6 billion a year earlier, bringing total cumulative Belt and Road spending to $932 billion since 2013. President Xi Jinping launched the Belt and Road Initiative in 2013, aiming to harness China's strengths in financing and infrastructure construction to build a broad community of shared interests throughout Asia, Africa and Latin America. But it has come under scrutiny for the debt burden it places on countries, and other issues such as environmental degradation. Other countries have also renegotiated investment projects with China, highlighting debt risks. No new coal projects received Chinese support over the period, after a pledge made at the United Nations General Assembly by Xi last September to put an end to overseas coal financing. However, a Chinese developer won a bid to build a thermal power plant in Indonesia in February, and there are still 11.2 gigawatts of capacity that have already secured financing, though are yet to begin construction. China has continued to provide support to other fossil fuel projects in Belt and Road countries, with oil and gas amounting to around 80% of China's overseas energy investments and 66% of its construction contracts. Engagements in gas projects stood at $6.7 billion in the first half, compared to $9.5 billion over the whole of last year. Green energy and hydropower transactions fell 22% from a year earlier. Investment rose $1.4 billion from $400 million. But green energy related construction spending fell $1.6 billion, less than half the level a year earlier. Cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the government has revised the spending lines of individual ministries as part of efforts to present a revised budget for the rest of the year. Minister Gunawardena said that the government has plans to raise taxes and also cut capital spending as part of efforts to reduce the budget deficit and money printing, to restore the monetary supply under a program with the International Monetary Fund. The government earlier said it is hoping to strike a staff-level agreement with the IMF in August, which will lead to firm negotiations with creditors and executive board approval for an IMF program and a drawdown. Sri Lanka defaulted on its foreign debt after 7 years of money printing under flexible inflation targeting and boosting spending by around 3% of gross domestic product to 20% of GDP after spending-based consolidation was dropped under revenue-based fiscal consolidation. Sources say that the government would return to the tax framework which existed before December 2019, when sharp cuts were made as part of fiscal stimulus accompanied by money printing to close the output gap.
අන්තර්කාලීන අයවැයක් වෙනවා කියලා කිව්ව අගෝස්තු 1 ගැන මොනවා හරි අපිට අප්ඩේට් එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්.
පුළුවන්. දැනට අමාත්‍යාංශවල අයවැය ප්‍රතිශෝධනය කළා සංඛ්‍යා කටයුතු අවසන් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ඉදිරි මාසය තුලදී අවශ්‍යම සංශෝධිත අයවැයක් ඉදිරි මාස කිහිපය සඳහා ලබන මාසය තුලදී අගෝස්තු මාසය තුලදී පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා.
Stay tuned for stock updates.
Ultra-fast connectivity for businesses and homes. From the only network that can provide 100 to 1000 Mbps speeds. For over 1 million fiber connections. Buy online from sltmobitel.lk to get connected to SLT Mobitel Fiber, the fiber of the nation.
Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today. The all-share price index dropped 9.25 points to close at 7,630.17, and the S&P SL20 dropped 15.56 points to close at 2,418.71. The turnover was 0.6 billion rupees and over 37 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. Take care and good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
Manage all your SLT Mobitel services through the MySLT app.
IWS Aviation.